In the name of Allah, the most beneficent and most merciful. Assalamu alaikum viewers, my name is Ziram Jabbar. I would like to welcome you in chemistry class. In our today's lecture, we will discuss about limiting reactant. You know that when we start a reaction, then we take two or more reactant, and from these two or more reactant, one reactant is consumed completely while the other one left behind. After that, when one reaction stop completely, reaction stop, then that reactant which is consumed completely and stop the rate of reaction is known as limiting reactant, while the other reactant which left behind when reaction stop is known as non-limiting reactant. We can say that a limiting reactant is that which control amount of product form and is always taken in a lesser amount. We take limiting reactant in less amount because sometimes some reactant is more expensive. That's why we take its less amount while the other one which is not expensive we take its greater amount to ensure that expensive reactant is consumed completely, and this limiting reactant produce least amount of product because when this limiting reactant consumed then reaction will not take place further. For example, if we want to form sandwiches, then we require bread slices and cheese. Suppose we are provided with 28 slices of bread and 11 slices of cheese, and we know that one sandwich requires 2 bread slices and 1 cheese slice. By this provided amount, we can only form 11 sandwiches. After that, cheese slices consumed while bread slices are left behind. So, in this case, cheese which consumed completely is known as limiting reactant, while the bread slices which left behind is known as non-limiting reactant. Let's discuss another example. We know that formation of water, the stoichiometric amount is 2 mole of hydrogen and 1 mole of oxygen to form 2 mole of water. Suppose we take 2 mole of hydrogen and 2 mole of oxygen gas, then by this amount we can only form 2 mole of water while 1 mole of oxygen is left behind. So the reactant which is left behind is known as limiting reactant, and hydrogen which is consumed completely is known as limiting reactant. In the same way, we know that combustion process require three things: fuel, oxygen and heat. Heat is provided by initial sparking. After that, we require two things: oxygen and fuel. Oxygen come from the vast reservoir which is our atmosphere. So oxygen is taken in greater amount. That's why oxygen is a non-limiting reactant, while fuel which consumed and after that combustion process stop is known as limiting reactant. In combustion process, fuel is a limiting reactant while oxygen is a non-limiting reactant. We can identify limiting reactant of any chemical reaction. For this purpose, we require 3 steps to perform. First of all, calculate number of moles of reactant. After that, calculate number of moles of product with the help of balanced chemical equation. After that, identify that reactant which form least amount of product. The reactant which form least amount of product is known as limiting reactant. It's all about today's lecture. Thank you.